Hello everyone and good day. Dan Manson here, that's right, Dan the man with the plan is here to stay. And today we're taking a little step back and just going to be talking about arena fighters since I played a lot of them last week. At first I'm just gonna pretty much be explaining arena fighters, but I'm sure that all you know what an arena fighter is, so I'm just gonna explain it for a little bit, so just sit tight with me. I'm gonna start getting into my opinions on each section that I bring up. So to get things started, I wanted to first talk about one of the main things for arena fighters, which is the fact that it's different from a traditional fighter. It's basically in the name why it's different, that a traditional fighter is usually a 2D plane, or at least in a way where a person can press back or forward to move towards and away from their opponent, at a slower pace mind you. But in an arena fighter, the player can press up and down to move towards and away from their opponent, with very rare scenarios being left and right. But essentially it's giving the player free reign when it comes to movement, and instead of being slower when they back up, they still move at the same normal rate that they always have been. And in some cases, you can even go as far as to give extra movement options on top of the regular movement in arena fighters as well. Now, traditional fighters also have multiple buttons that can bring out attacks, such as in Dragon Ball FighterZ with light, medium, heavy, or Street Fighter with light, medium, heavy punches and kicks, and even Tekken with its 4-button layout having left and right punches and kicks. Arena fighters are much more down to earth in that sense, where they typically only have one button to do combos, and in some rare cases they have a second button that they can either use to add to a little bit of the combo, like a small little extension, or it might be just a second combo in general, like in Jump Force or Xenoverse. In arena fighters and traditional fighters, you have to get creative in order to make better combos. In arena fighters, I believe it takes a lot more exploitation of the limits of the game in order to pull off different feats. For example, in Xenoverse 2 or Jump Force, with the custom created characters, you're allowed to give them any special move from the entire game from different characters. And the reason why a lot of these moves are separated between the characters is because when they are joined together, it would just be too powerful. Yet here we are giving access to the created character, which can learn all those incredibly powerful moves to create a completely unescapable or unblockable, or in some cases both, combo that would just absolutely decimate an opponent and kill them all in a single combo, rendering them completely helpless and not able to enjoy their arena fighter as they would normally. Now, I'm not saying that this isn't in traditional fighters with some insane movesets and a single character, but in those cases, a custom character having access to these different moves, you're allowing them into ranked matches. And I believe that that's kind of unfair because you could end up with that custom created character against a traditional character in the fighter game. And in the same way of them oppressing another custom created character that just doesn't know the setup as well, you're now limiting the traditional character and what they can do against this custom character, which is why I do believe that it's great that Street Fighter 6 is separating both of them, so that way you can't really play the custom character in a ranked match, because I don't want to just see custom characters every time I play ranked, you know what I mean? But talking about these custom characters is a beautiful segue to the actual characters in arena fighters. Arena fighters typically have a lot of characters, and when I say a lot, I mean like a lot more than traditional fighters normally would. And I say normally because there are some exceptions, like BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, which has 40 plus characters in it, while your traditional fighters typically don't reach that high unless it's Street Fighter 5 and it's going on like 5 years of content now. Let's look at Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 specifically. They have about 100 characters base game, and to be specific, it's 106 base characters. Now, of course, with Storm 4, they've had tons of games that came before it to help them build up the roster over the years. But even back in Storm 1 and 2, they were pretty decent sized roster for the time that they were created in. These type of rosters are actually casual for arena fighters because they can have many characters that have just some of the craziest movesets. And what's crazy about these rosters is that you look at this 106 base game roster and you see that 6 of them are Naruto. Just like how in the Tenkaichi, the Budokai Tenkaichi series, in the third one, they had like 5 Gokus in it. And it's almost a 100 character roster. The potential for characters in arena fighters is so great because not only can you dedicate an entire moveset to a character that almost never sees play, but characters with different forms and moments in the anime as well. Like some traditional fighters will have multiples of a single character, like Ultra Street Fighter 2 with Ryu and Evil Ryu or Ken and Violent Ken, but these characters have different properties and different abilities which make them a separate character. And these separate characters are just truly separate characters because they're like complete opposites of the characters. They're not installs as the traditional fighters would call them, or transformations or awakenings as arena fighters would call them. In the Storm series, your 6 Narutos are Pre-Time Skip, Shippuden Base Form, Sage Mode, QB Chakra Mode 2, Sage of 6 Paths, and then Naruto the Last. Shippuden Base Naruto has like 2 forms, but 3 if you want to be like extremely technical, because the first form is based off of the start of Shippuden, which was up to his Wind Style Rasen Shuriken, and his transformation / awakening would be the Four Tails. His second form would be past the pain fight, but not quite to the complete control of the first QB Chakra mode that he has. So his first QB Chakra mode dealt with a lot of quick rapid strikes that would pinpoint, I guess, the opponent's weakness or whatever. And the second form would have the QB Chakra mode fully mastered, but it would have Planetary Rasengan instead. Not to mention, both forms of base Naruto before he transforms into the QB Chakra mode state have different combos, in the sense that the second one that has completely mastered the first chakra state would have a shadow clone, and he would summon it to extend his combo a little bit further than all the other Narutos would, therefore making him a great option, and that's why he was my personal favorite form of Naruto to use for a long time. And that's the thing about arena fighters. You can give a single character different movesets even though they're the exact same character. You can express them in tons of different ways. So being extremely technical before DLC, if we're talking about different forms, there are technically 8 Narutos in the base roster. But let's move on to Tenkaichi 3 and compare that to Dragon Ball FighterZ so that we can have a direct comparison. So Budokai Tenkaichi 3 gives you 5 Gokus. Kid Goku, early, mid, end, and then GT Goku. Dragon Ball FighterZ has 5 Gokus as well. Base Goku, Super Saiyan Goku, Super Saiyan Blue, Ultra Instinct, and GT as well. Now, I could argue that if we follow the Arena Fighter format, there would only be 3 Gokus, because we could have Blue Goku transform into UI, and we could have Base Goku transform into Super Saiyan Goku. From this example, you can see that the potential for more characters comes from Arena Fighters, since they essentially take the model and add layers to them to the one character, versus the traditional fighter who has to come up with long, complex movesets that can encompass all those buttons and possibilities for the character so that they can cram a lot of their source material into one character, versus that arena fighter where they can not only give them that potential that I mentioned earlier, but they can also give like different characters, different pieces of material in order to capitalize on other things such as costumes. Costumes are a lot like a color in a traditional fighter, in which you can express a person's interest in the character's favorite form or favorite moment from the series. In some traditional fighters such as Street Fighter V and Tekken 7, as far as I know, they gave you the possibility to customize your character with different costumes in Street Fighter's case, and with a bunch of different costumes you can change them from the holiday season, Halloween season, swimsuits, to just maybe their nostalgic costume from when they were first established in the game. Arena fighters give you their costumes from different themes and forms, but just because. For example, Naruto's Sage Mode outfit has a school version which comes from one of the first endings of Naruto Shippuden. Or in other cases like Hinata, the costume shows her different forms from Shippuden, such as her from the war or her base form. But they also gave her access to other things such as her The Last movie form as well, underneath all of her costumes. Or even in Tenkaichi, you would have different outfits, like Goku would have his ripped outfit from Namek, his Saiyan armor that he trained with Gohan with, or his Yardrat outfit, and of course his regular outfit as well. Heck, even in Tekken 7, they gave you a whole character creation menu, but for the characters that are already established in the game, which leads for a lot of expression through the characters that we love to play so much. When you look at Dragon Ball FighterZ, there's no costumes, and it's not like that's the worst thing in the world, but it's somewhat disappointing because it's always nice to think of what it would be like to play Super Saiyan Goku but in his ripped outfit. Or maybe even Videl with pigtails, or you know, all these different possibilities of costumes and outfits that wouldn't really hinder the experience. I think it would just further emphasize on a character's personality or even the player's personality as well. Like, color choice leaves a huge impression on opponents, but I think that costumes show even more diversity among all those options. Moving on from costumes, I want to bring it back to characters for a brief moment before we move on to the next point. Remember how I said that the starting roster for Storm 4 was about 100 characters, and I believe I said like 106 to be spot on? But if you count the pre-order bonuses, it's actually about 108 characters. not counting the forms that are hidden in other characters such as the Naruto example I mentioned earlier. But how do you think they have access to so many Naruto characters? Can you name 108 different Naruto characters? I probably can, but that's not the point. Think about it like this. Think of a traditional fighter and think of who from Naruto you really want, but you have to narrow it down to 20 characters, let's say 22 to count pre-order bonuses. It's hard because there's a huge roster of characters, and possibly having multiple forms of Naruto and Sasuke, considering they're the poster childs of the series, it's going to be hard to narrow it down. But let's think about the characters that you 100% absolutely without a doubt say that you don't even want in the game because you don't want them to take a spot over another character like Hinata. Well, believe it or not, all those characters that you wouldn't want to take up a spot are in Storm 4. That's right, your characters such as Rin, Kushina, Iruka, Kid Konohamaru, all the child versions of the main Konoha group, and the Sand siblings. What about Karin, Granny Chiyo, Gaara's dad? So many of the characters that take a backseat to the series over the main characters that are huge fan favorites would not make it into a traditional fighter, but they all have a possibility of existing in an arena fighter, just because the creator says, yeah, let's throw in these characters. Would you have wasted 5 character slots in Dragon Ball FighterZ for each member in the Ginyu Force? I know I wouldn't, because that's a waste of 4 extra characters that could possibly be a new form of Gohan or a different, more interesting character. Yeah, I'd be excited to see how they're incorporated and how their entire moveset is set into stone, but those 4 extra characters, I'm okay with them leaving and giving them access through Ginyu's Ginyu Force ability, because Ginyu in and of himself is an extremely unique character with a unique moveset compared to the rest of the cast. But in an arena fighter, you can put in all 5 of those characters and give them their signature moves and do them justice very easily. And coming up with these movesets is only possible because of the game's mechanics. The game's mechanics are key features in the game that breathe life into it. It's what makes Dragon Ball Z Dragon Ball Z. So let's break it down game by game. Let's start with Storm 4. In that game, you have access to some basic core mechanics. So you have your guard break, your ninja tools, you can throw out at any moment to either extend your combo, hinder your opponent, or hurt your opponent and knock them down. And then you also have access to a chakra dash, and the chakra dash allows you to expend some chakra in order to execute a quick movement towards the opponent, away from the opponent, or to even extend combos either on the ground or in the air. They even have a button so you can throw kunai or shuriken at the opponent. Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi gives every character the ability to fly. Every character, including characters that can't fly. They find a way and get creative to give them access to fly, whether it's Kid Goku and he has his tail spinning in a circle so he can slowly descend to the ground since he can't fly yet, or giving Hercule a jetpack that can't hold him up for an extended amount of time so he slowly descends to the ground. They have your basic combo structure with a single button that can extend your combo just a tad bit longer with an extra button, but if 2 people were to hit the attack button at the same time, there's a small miniature clash of just your punches clashing with your opponent's punches. But if you use a dash super into another dash super, or 2 dragon rushes into each other, you can start an actual clash of just throwing punches and kicks at the opponent while the player spins their control stick as fast as they can to beat the clash. Or even if 2 beam supers clash with one another, you're met with another clash opportunity of spinning the control stick. And these clashes are what make the Tenkaichi games feel so much like Dragon Ball Z. They even grant you a Ki Blast button, so that way you can hit your long range opponents and you can spam them all you like. Now let's look at Demon Slayer. It has a very unique way of charging up your energy. So in the series, everything is about breathing techniques. So how do you charge in the game? What button do you press? Nothing. You press absolutely nothing. You have to literally take a break from fighting in order to catch your breath. It's so clever that you just charge by just standing still for a moment, doing nothing, and taking a second to catch your breath to refill your energy. And the fact that it's a 2v2 game is so great, considering how a lot of the fights in Demon Slayer from the anime series that we've seen so far has been fought with 2 individuals fighting against a demon. It's absolutely remarkable how they incorporate even the smallest details like that into the game. Heck, they would even have the demons fight by themselves since they never got along in the series, and they would only have them fight on nighttime stages to the point where they would make nighttime variants of those stages. Going further into the many details that they put into these arena fighters, let's look at Hercule from Dragon Ball Z. In the Tenkaichi series, they gave him a nerf where his punches would not even flinch the opponent. They wouldn't experience any type of hit stun, And it's just so funny because that's literally how he was compared to the regular cast of Dragon Ball Z in the series. Let's bring up one more game just for an example. One Piece Burning Blood. I know I haven't put it on the channel, but it's just a game that I used to play a lot. So it's a 3-on-3 fighting game, but let me tell you what I love about the game. They have a special button, and the special button gives access to more unique things for each character. So for example, if you ate a Logia type devil fruit, then you would gain access to Logia powers, which means that your body would then become the property of whatever you ate. So for example, if you ate the smoke fruit, your body would become smoke. If you ate the flame fruit, your body would become fire. So with Logia characters, as long as you would press the R1 button, you would then turn your body into whatever element the user who ate the devil fruit was, and by doing that you would be able to escape combos that you normally wouldn't be able to get out of. Then you have the Haki characters, any character that can activate Conqueror's Haki, or like the really good versions of Haki to counteract the Logia properties. If you press the R1 button, you then imbue Haki into your attacks, therefore making it so that Logia characters cannot get out of your combos anymore. In fact, you would break their stamina and they won't be able to use their Logia abilities for a little bit. And for characters like Sanji, who at the time didn't have any real special abilities, his special button activated his Diabo Jumbo and gave him access to Skywalk, in which he could use after launching someone into the air to extend his combos. There's a bunch of different ways of incorporating the special button into a game like that that really makes it stand out. And what better way to make the mechanic stand out than have a really good combo system? But that's not always the case. When it comes to the combo system and practicing the game in general, a lot of them are pretty brain dead, in which you can just mash one button, so it's kind of hard to find the flow of when you try to go into the training mode and practice. I know that when I went into the training mode, I would always think to myself, oh, I'm just going to play this game for fun, because it was hard to find that flow. It was hard for me to figure out what made the game so much deeper than what it actually is on the surface. So I would always just pick up the game for fun, like with the Storm series. There have even been some games where I see really good tech and chances for me to practice, like the My Hero games or even One Piece Burning Blood at points. But when it feels extremely button mashy and just all over the place, like in Storm or even Tenkaichi, at least for me when I was younger and playing them, I never saw that chance to get into practicing. And once I decide that a game is just for fun, we get results kind of like with the Storm gameplay that came out a few days ago, where I'm getting completely destroyed by people that have been constantly playing the game and evolving over me, who's just been casually turning on the game every now and then, and in this last case it was a really long time ago. When it comes to time, it really changes the game. When a game first comes out, no one knows what they're doing. It's the same thing with most traditional fighters that are new, or most traditional fighters that have extremely new mechanics that no one's going to know exactly how to execute them properly. So pretty much, I challenge you all that if this ever comes up for you, play a game the first month it's out. Any traditional fighting game, 3D fighting game, arena fighter, it doesn't matter. But then don't play that game or watch anything about the game for a year or maybe even 2, your choice how long you want to wait. Then come back to the exact same game and just instantly hop online. The second you hop online, you're going to be met with some of the most disturbing skill gaps you have ever met. Again, this is true for all fighting games, so traditional fighters are no exception. But for arena fighters, if you take a game that you thought was just for fun, and now you're seeing just how competitive it can be, it's completely world changing. It flips your entire world upside down for you, because you don't know where all this technique came from. Heck, I hopped on Storm 4 and Jump Force and not expecting much. I was just expecting a fun time, because I always saw those games as just for fun, and I just got completely bodied with each and every encounter I came across. But like I said, this is about arena fighters and my view of them. So what I'm going to do is in this last section of the video, I'm going to talk about what I think about arena fighters truthfully and honestly. I believe arena fighters are games that are made just for fun. Demon Slayer has always been like that in my eyes, and even though I see these insane skill gaps in a lot of arena fighters, I still think that those games are fun games and not competitive games. Maybe if I keep playing them, I'll see them as more competitive, especially if I keep playing them online, like I have been, then yeah, I might see them competitive and might get better at them. But for now, they're like that fun little breakaway from all the extra effort. In fact, I still love arena fighters. I can't wait for Storm Connections to come out, and I can't wait for the next Tenkaichi game to come out. I can't wait to see what else comes out. Like, who knows, we might get, I don't know, My Hero 1's Justice 3 with even more new mechanics that were in the last game compared to the first one. And I'm excited because arena fighters are a great way to incorporate anime into the fighting world. Dragon Ball FighterZ worked for Dragon Ball Z because it's Dragon Ball Z, and there's a lot of potential behind it. I feel like there would be great potential for games such as Naruto Fighters or One Piece Fighters, because traditional fighters gives access to the competitive nature that these anime fans want, including me and myself, because I want to see a Naruto fighting game. Because I love Naruto so much, I want to see what they can do with the fighting game based on the series Storm was able to pull off. One Piece is another amazing example because One Piece has so much potential. It has so many great characters and great significant moments that I feel like if Arc System were to ever touch a One Piece fighting game, they would 100% be able to bring out something incredible from the game. Whether it's a 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, I don't know. I'm personally leaning towards 1v1 game for stuff like that and Naruto Fighters, but I don't really care because at the end of the day, it's going to be a great anime game created by such a great video game company that makes these amazing fighting games like Arc Systems. But of course, that's not what I'm talking about today. We're talking about Arena Fighters and how I can't wait to see what Arena Fighters come up next. I need to see more love for Arena Fighters. These games are so good. They're fun, they're engaging, they have flashy, huge moves. I mean, look at Demon Slayer and Storm's ultimate attacks. CyberConnect 2 has done an incredible job with not only animating these games, but by making everything just look so good. My friend and I have always said that Storm was a game that was way ahead of its time, but we still get hyped to this day going back and watching all the ultimates again. Like, yeah, I'll be upset if someone hits me with an ultimate, but I'm not gonna say that the ultimate's not awesome. I mean, Arena Fighters are flashy for no reason, and they just execute everything properly in my opinion. It's been a while since I've seen a lot of the ultimates in Storm, and I really just want to go back and play through all of Storm 4, experience all those ultimates and all those amazing cinematic moments again. With the characters, their awakenings, their jutsus, it's just so fun, but I want to wait until Connections because I want to do it for the channel, and I want to get that fresh start with a fresh mind, so I don't want to spoil myself on Storm too early, so I'll probably wait till Connections comes out before I, start diving into the Storm series again. But yeah, thank you all for watching this really long video. I planned for this to be out on Monday, but Mother's Day happened, so I didn't really have time to edit it, so it actually might come out on Tuesday. But anyways, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and I hope you all enjoyed Mother's Day. This video should probably be out by Tuesday, hopefully, and if it's not out on Tuesday, then I sincerely apologize for not getting it done in time, but the script was done Monday morning, so hopefully I could be able to edit and record all this by Tuesday. And again, if I don't, I sincerely apologize, but hey, if not, then Tuesday was probably Tekken Tuesday, and I hope you all enjoyed it. But yeah, thank you for watching today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Go ahead and leave a like if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to, just hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything other than like a second to click the subscribe button. You know what? If you're watching on your phone, click it with your elbow. I bet you feel, I feel like you can't do it. I feel like you really can't touch it. I feel like you're weak. You're too weak. You can't do it unless you subscribe with your Oh wait, hold on. You just subscribe with your elbow? Okay, hold on. That was actually kind of cool. Hold on, that was kind of cool. I didn't think you could do that because I tried it before and it failed me completely. I was like, dang, I was defeated. I was upset with myself. I thought I was weak. But now I see that you guys can do it? Okay, that's kind of crazy. Alright, well, if you're watching on your computer, I bet you can't click the subscribe button with your toe. Yeah, that's right. Use the mouse button with your foot and click on it with your toe. That was so weird. I'm not Dan Schneider. Anyways, wait, why did you do that? Why did you literally click it? I'm literally looking at you. Why did you click the subscribe button with your toe? That was a little weird. I'm not gonna lie. Why'd you even listen to me? I don't know what's wrong with you. Why would you listen to me? What? Okay, listen to me about subscribing, but don't listen to me about using your feet in anything. Like, that's a little weird. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. But anyways, clicking it with your elbow and with your toe, you over there in the corner. I see you, Brian. Anyways, you guys seriously have talent. So I want you to go ahead and in the comment section below, let me know what talents you got. Because I do kind of want to know what kind of talents you guys have. I want to know what my viewers can do. So yeah, anyways, I lost track of time. I lost track of what I was saying. So back on track. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. And I want you to know, and I want to know what Arena Fighters you guys like. So leave that in the comment section below as well. Like, I don't know, say what your talent is, how you discovered it, and then tell me what you think about Arena Fighters. So yeah, with all that being said, I hope you all have a great day. Have a fantastic week. And remember, may your heart be your guiding key.